You deleted the apps. You're rebuilding your attention span. Your brain is healing, but there's something else happening. Something you haven't noticed yet. You're becoming less kind, less empathetic, less willing to help. And it's not because you're a bad person. It's because brain rot doesn't just destroy your focus. It destroys your ability to care about other people. Today, we're talking about something psychologists call prosocial behavior, and how scrolling is quietly eroding it without you realizing. Let's go. First, let's define what prosocial behavior actually is. It's any action intended to benefit someone else. Helping, sharing, comforting, caring, being kind when you don't have to be. It's the stuff that makes society function. The reason people hold doors open, check on their friends, help strangers, volunteer, donate, show up when someone needs them. And research just came out showing that excessive screen time, especially short-form content, is directly linked to lower prosocial behavior, especially in young people, the generation that grew up scrolling. Here's what's actually happening in your brain when you scroll for hours every day. Every time you watch a TikTok or a reel, your brain is processing rapid, fragmented, emotionally charged content. Faces, voices, music, drama, conflict, joy, sadness, all of it flashing by at hyperspeed. Your emotional regulation system, the part of your brain that helps you process and respond to emotions appropriately, gets overloaded. It's like flooding a circuit, too much input, too fast. No time to actually feel anything deeply. So your brain adapts. It starts to numb. It stops responding as intensely to emotional content. Because if it didn't, you'd be emotionally destroyed by the 500th video of the day. But here's the problem. That numbness doesn't stay online. It follows you into real life. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. Someone tells you they're going through something hard, and your first instinct isn't empathy. It's nothing. You hear the words. You know you should care, but you don't feel it. You see someone struggling, carrying too many bags, dropping something, and you don't help. Not because you're mean, because the impulse to help just didn't fire. A friend reaches out. They need support, and instead of responding, you leave them on read. Because engaging with their emotions feels like too much work. You scroll past a fundraiser, a cause you care about, and you keep scrolling. Because one more emotional ask just feels exhausting. That's what prosocial behavior erosion looks like. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. You just slowly become someone who cares less, helps less, connects less. Now let's talk about why this happens. Because it's not just the emotional numbing. Prosocial behavior requires three things: attention, empathy, and emotional regulation. Attention, so you notice when someone needs help. Empathy, so you actually care about their situation. And emotional regulation, so you can manage your own feelings while helping them. Brain rot destroys all three. Your attention span is shot, so you don't notice when people around you are struggling. You're too distracted, too in your own head, too checked out. Your empathy is dulled, because your brain has been overstimulated by manufactured emotional content for so long that real emotions don't register the same way. And your emotional regulation is cooked, because you've spent hours every day experiencing intense emotions without actually processing them. So when real life requires you to manage your feelings and show up for someone else, you don't have the capacity. Here's the research. A 2024 study looked at children's electronic media use and prosocial behavior. The more time kids spent on screens, the less they helped others, the less they shared, the less they cared. And it wasn't just about time. It was about the type of content. Short-form videos specifically, the kind that require rapid attention shifts and trigger strong emotional responses without giving you time to process them. Sound familiar? That's TikTok. That's Reels. That's the exact content that's dominating your feed. And it's not just kids. Adults show the same pattern. The more you scroll, the less prosocial you become. Let's talk about what else is happening. Because it's not just that you're less helpful, you're also less connected. Prosocial behavior isn't just about helping strangers. It's about maintaining relationships, checking in on people, showing up when they need you, being present. And when your brain is fried from scrolling, you don't do those things. You ghost people, not because you don't care. Because reaching out feels like it requires energy you don't have. You cancel plans, not because you don't want to see them. Because socializing feels impossible when your brain is already overstimulated. You stop asking people how they're doing, not because you're selfish. Because small talk feels exhausting and deep conversation requires focus you don't have anymore. Your relationships start to erode. Slowly, one missed text at a time. Here's the uncomfortable part. You probably haven't noticed this happening. Because brain rot happens gradually. You don't wake up one day and suddenly stop caring about people. It's a slow fade. You become slightly less responsive, slightly less engaged, slightly less present. And over months, over years, you become someone you wouldn't have recognized 5 years ago. Someone who used to check on their friends, but doesn't anymore. Someone who used to volunteer, but can't find the time or energy. Someone who used to care deeply about causes and people, and now just feels nothing. That's the cost. Not just your focus, not just your attention span, your humanity. So what do? How do you rebuild prosocial behavior after brain rot has eroded it? First, you have to rebuild your capacity for real emotion. That means getting off the screens. Not just limiting time, actually disconnecting. So your brain has space to feel things deeply again. When someone tells you something, you sit with it. You don't immediately check your phone. You don't scroll while they're talking. You actually let yourself feel what they're saying. It's going to feel weird at first, because your brain has been numbed for so long that real emotions feel too intense. But that's the point. You need to recalibrate. You need to remember what it feels like to actually care. Second, you practice small acts of prosocial behavior, even when you don't feel like it. Hold the door for someone. Let someone merge in traffic. Pick up something someone dropped. Ask someone how they're really doing. Not because you're overflowing with empathy, but because you're rebuilding the muscle. Prosocial behavior isn't just about feeling. It's about action, and action creates feeling. The more you help, even mechanically at first, the more your brain remembers how to connect, how to care, how to be human. Third, you protect your emotional capacity. Stop consuming content designed to overstimulate you. Stop watching videos of people crying, fighting, trauma dumping, performing grief. Not because you don't care, because your brain can't handle that much emotional input without shutting down. And when your brain shuts down, you stop being able to respond to real people in your real life who actually need you. Here's what life looks like when you rebuild prosocial behavior. You notice when people need help, and you actually do something about it. You feel empathy again, not performative empathy. Real, deep, I actually care about you empathy. You show up for people, not out of obligation. Because you have the emotional capacity to be present. You build real connections, not follower counts, not likes. Real relationships with real people who know the real you. You feel like yourself again. Like a person who matters, who contributes, who makes the world slightly better just by being in it. Brain rot isn't just about productivity. It's not just about focus. It's about who you are as a person. And if you've been scrolling for years, you're not the same person you were when you started. You're more isolated, more numb, more disconnected, less kind. Not because you chose to be, because your brain was hijacked by content designed to overstimulate you into oblivion. But you can get it back. Your focus, your empathy, your humanity. You just have to be willing to put down the phone and remember what it feels like to actually be present with another human being. If this hit you, if you just realized you've become less kind and you don't know how it happened, share this. Because someone in your life is scrolling right now, wondering why they feel so disconnected from everyone, and they need to know it's not them. It's brain rot. You need this one.